What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me I have some more RPG horror stories. I don't got much to really say, except I got good news about my health and stuff. With diabetes and everything, I've been taking my health very seriously, and turned out my body decided to respond in turn. My metabolism went up, I'm constantly losing weight like on every single day basis, and I feel like I'm constantly deflating. My pants don't want to stay on all the time. They keep falling off, which is a weird thing to complain about because I'm both happy about it, but also a little bit annoyed, because like, I don't want to go pantsless. Anyway, good news aside, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Hopefully it won't ruin the good vibes we have on here. I can't believe it's not D&D, a family drama. A while ago, my brother, who I don't have much contact with, asked if he could join my upcoming RPG campaign. We're never really close, and I thought maybe we could form a connection, so I agreed. We're playing in a setting of Pillars of Eternity, using the rules of a German RPG. Since he hadn't played any of the games, I asked him to read up on the lore online, and then sends me his character backstory. I then do the math for him and generate it with the rule set. A few days before their first session, he finally sends it to me. A paladin of Saint Cuthbert from a homebrew knight order state of the Sword Coast. I reminded him that we're not playing D&D, and that he needs to read up on the lore of Pillars of Eternity if he wants to join. I suggest he should retool his character as a paladin of Saint Wadwen from Reed Saras and send him the link to the wiki. I didn't hear back from him after that. So the day before the first session, I messaged him that he can't play if he doesn't have a fitting character, and he wrote me that I should just include Saint Cuthbert in the order state. I replied that I'm not going to do that, and that he can join them. He then showed up the first session with a D&D character sheet and the printed backstory of his paladin. He just showed up with oh my god. I'm trying to imagine it, like everybody else is playing a different game and you just showing up with your D&D character sheet. I made my character sheet, guys, let's go. I don't think that's how it works, but I mean you tried your very best. You did give him some feedback, just retool the character and everything, but maybe they needed some more help. Maybe they were thinking that every game is just D&D. At the end of the day, I do understand some of the premise that every game is just D&D, because from, I don't want to use the word specifically, but in this situation I think it makes sense. From a tourist perspective, if you don't know anything at all about TTRPGs, you just assume that every game is just D&D but like different, or D&D but just with a different name. And I kind of assumed that for a while before even touching D&D, before I realized that there's so many TTRPGs out there, so I understand where the miscommunication, misunderstanding came from. But I'm just trying to imagine the faces and everybody when he just pulls out a D&D character sheet. I am ready, Paladin Oath of Glory compared to whatever else everybody is playing. I don't know what they're playing. Still would have been better if your brother would have, you know, investigated this stuff a little bit more and read about the wiki and just retooled the character slightly. I told him again that we're not playing in the setting or with that rule set, and he got kind of angry, demanding that the other players read his backstory and judge if it fits the setting. None of them did, and he cussed me out and left. On the next day, I got a phone call from my mother telling me that it's not okay that I won't play with my brother, or that my friends are mean to him. I am 34 years old and he's 2 years older. Oh my god, a 36-year-old? I know some man children out there, so I could see a 36-year-old man child act like this. But also the fact that he completely misinterpreted the entire experience. Nobody was mean to him. It's like, dude, we're playing a different system. If you want to play D&D, play D&D. That's probably what you should probably tell to your brother if you ever do. That like, you understand the enthusiasm, but slightly different systems. What you're playing is not D&D. If they want to play D&D, they should probably find somebody to play D&D with, or maybe join you if you want to play D&D and you guys want to enjoy D&D together. But like, probably the miscommunication here needs to be addressed. So the fact that not everything is just D&D with a different name or extra steps and stuff. TTRPGs are kind of similar. You roll the dice, you have character sheets, probably most likely, and then things happen and you have some sort of adjudicator, the arbiter of the game, DM, GM, storyteller, whatever you like to use. You're just adjudicating the game and telling you what's going to happen and stuff. But they're all very different, very, very different, similar, but different. Anyway, a little bit of a silly RPG horror story. Let's get to the next one for today. You aren't playing with us. A few months ago, I joined a beginner-friendly Pathfinder 2 game on a fairly large Discord server. The server wasn't dedicated to tabletop games, it just had a space set aside for us. GM Amy is patient and happy to explain the rules, and the group meshed very well together. Sadly, one of the players had to drop due to schedule changes at work. We're about halfway through the module, so we took a brief hiatus until Amy found us a new player. She did a session 0 with a guy, but no one else in the game had met him yet. Game day rolled around and Amy warned us the new guy was running a little late. She said she'd work on some extra prep work while we waited, but we were welcome to talk freely. The The three of us were chatting, and one of the players was showing off some artwork he had done of his character during the hiatus when the stranger joined the call. At first, we thought he was the new guy, but it quickly became obvious that the guy was lost. He asked me if it were the new D&D game. Nope, Pathfinder. Amy noticed the new person and happily answered his questions while we were waiting. The stranger asked if he could play. Amy said no. She was running a beginner-friendly module designed to teach players the game, and it was designed for 4 players. She couldn't adjust the difficulty with no notice. He asked if he could watch our game instead. There were some awkward and reluctant comments, but no one said no, so Amy said he could watch as long as the group approved. When new guy Greg showed up, we all introduced our characters to him. The stranger made comments and suggested changes even though he kept talking like we were playing D&D. Wait, so the guy is literally just backseat DMing or GMing or playing for you guys and making intelligent suggestions and stuff, expecting you guys to play D&D when you weren't playing? So you basically have the peanut gallery that's extremely vocal and not just being, polite and patient, just watching and observing things for the sake of observing things. I don't mind if my players want to spectate some games and stuff. I don't mind that one bit whatsoever at all, but at least be polite to not interrupt when the players are just in the session and stuff. Like, we have text channels for that sort of thing, just to be polite in case you do want to have some sort of side commentary. But if people are in the middle of a session and they need to have voice chat clear so they can communicate with each other, it's kind of important for them to have that be clear so they can actually be involved and actually participate and not have the peanut gallery be loud and unnecessarily giving out feedback when feedback is not really asked or necessary. And that's the best way I can explain in the nicest way. I don't mind if somebody spectates. I don't think most people would mind if somebody else spectates the games, as long as they be polite and cordial about it and don't just chime in at every turn and start making criticisms and comments towards what things need to be changed midway, because that seems egregious, honestly. Everyone rejected and ignored his suggestions. Amy began narrating the previous player giving the party his daily buffs before he left, and a new party member happened to see us on the street and offering to help. The stranger interrupted and talked over Amy a few times during her narration. The stranger has no idea how to be polite, I guess, or probably wants to be the most important person in the room, most likely. New guy Greg asked who the stranger was. Before anyone else could answer, the stranger said he was hopefully going to be joining our group. So now he's inviting himself into the thing, even though he was never approved to be invited in the first place. Some people are just absolutely ridiculous, and I just don't understand. Some people just have this, I don't know if it's overconfidence or stupidity, but they have this knack of just being able to invite themselves into whatever the hell they want to invite themselves into because I think they're so self-important and stuff. I don't understand when some people get this I can't tell if it's confidence, honestly, or if it's just dumb, but like something in them, something in their bodies, this hubris that they have, something inside the core just basically makes them think like, yeah, I can just invite myself into whatever I want and everybody's just gonna be fully welcome for that. And it's just not how things work. If you're invited, sure, but if you weren't invited, don't just invite yourself into things. That's rude. Amy corrected this and repeated her previous comments about the module being designed for 4 players. A player was having technical issues, so I began streaming my screen and controlling the character for them to help Amy out. The stranger asked if he could roll dice for the player so he could feel included and asked to play an NPC. Amy rejected both ideas and asked him to mute his mic. He said he'd be quiet. He lied. About an hour in, Amy summoned a mod to the channel. Since the server wasn't dedicated to tabletop games, a game master didn't have any moderation control and she couldn't remove the stranger. She could only ask him to stop. Even with the mod watching, the stranger couldn't keep quiet. He kept making comments and mumbling about various issues, sometimes hitting the push to speak button repeatedly so he could sigh dramatically. The mod kicked the stranger from the call for us, but stayed for the rest of the game just in case we needed it. Unlike the stranger, the mod was a great observer, never made a peep, just watched the game to congratulate us for talking one combat down peacefully and ending the other with some epic rolls. As they should. Be like the mod in this story, not the stranger. Imagine the audacity of somebody literally pressing push to talk just to go click. Oh, dude. Nobody's asking for your opinion or your sighing commentary. Nobody asked for that. Stay muted, stay polite, keep a criticism to yourself after the game, if anything. Or if you're not going to be polite enough to just be quiet and be polite and cordial, get the hell out. seriously, it's not that difficult to be polite, but some people just have no self-awareness whatsoever. I swear, it's not confidence or hubris, it's just lack of self-awareness. They think they're the most important person in the room. They think they're the main protagonist of everything. They think that the anime main protagonist that deserves a harem. Stranger, you don't deserve a harem. You don't deserve to be the main protagonist. You're not the main person here, just being a rude butthole. Anyway, let's continue with the next story for today. It's my character. I'm making it my way, but out, is my response I got from a new player when I asked them if they needed any help with character creation. They've been recommended by a close friend of mine who warned me new player could be a little high-strung, but I was promised they'd vibe with me and the group. Spoiler, they did not. Okay, let's just break it down. This sentence, the title, it's my character, I'm making it my way, but out. On paper, yes, it is your character. And you deserve to make a character however you want to make the character using the rules of the TTRPG that you're playing. D&D, Pathfinder, whatever you're using. But being so antagonistic, and if your DM is trying to help you, or different players trying to help you create your character and put your character together, if your first response is, it's my character, I do it my way, but out, without taking any of the help even though you clearly need it, I don't think you're gonna find a lot of people that want to play with you. Because if you're gonna be that antagonistic over somebody trying to help you because you clearly probably need help because you're a brand new player, probably learning the system, probably trying to get a hang of things, and if a DM or a helpful player that been asked to help you out is offering you help, typically you probably want to be cordial, considerate, and say, sure, I would love some help, or at least have the manners to say, nah, it's okay, I would like to try to take it on myself, but if I have any questions, I'll make sure to ask. Thank you very much. Politely reject somebody if you have that. I don't think this player has any politeness whatsoever. What's up with these stories about rude players being rude? I mean, I guess makes sense. This is RPG horror stories, and sometimes if it's not a horrible disaster, it's rude people being rude on the internet. Anyway, let's continue. This is all online, so reach out on Discord. Give them the basics of the setting. Tell them we're playing Savage Worlds. New player admits they're a bit worried about this. They only played D&D before, never tried a different system. Concerned about learning a new one. Fair enough. They asked me if creating a character is the same as in D&D. Not really. There's different considerations in any rule set. New player complains that they don't want it to have to learn a whole new character creation system in such a short time frame. Game is due to start a month later. Yeah, okay, I can help with that. Game is starting in a month. You have plenty of time. Also, if you don't want to learn a new system, why are you trying a different game? If you want to play D&D, play D&D. Nobody is forcing you to play other systems. If you want to learn a new system, go for it. If you don't want to learn a new system, you don't have to. Play the system you're comfortable with. It's just that simple. I'm saying the most obvious things that any person with just even a singular brain cell, and I have a half a brain cell. I have intelligence of 10, and I'm a dumb tiefling on the internet. I have half a brain cell, and even I can say something semi-smart for once. Wow, what an event. If you tell me a concept, I can point you to some edges and hindrances that might be suitable. It's my character, I'm making it my way, but out. So I left it at that. 2 weeks go by, and I check in with the group. How are people doing for characters? Everyone says they're thinking, we clarify some rule stuff, all looking good. New player is silent. I ask, new player, how's the character coming along? It's not. Character creation is too complicated. I don't understand it. Maybe player who invited them to the game in the first place can talk it through with you. No, I don't want anyone interfering with my character. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Does this new player think the DM is going to try to ruin their character by trying to help them out? They're trying to help you with a system that you clearly don't understand or don't know. Accept help. Be at least self-aware enough to understand, yes, I need help. Please help me. Please guide me. I don't know what I'm doing. That's what I did when I made my first D&D character. I had no idea what I was doing. And I was left to the devices of, well, at the time though, on one hand, people that helped me create a character did help me create a character, but I was also told some completely wrong information that I just assumed was just a rule until I started reading what the Warlock was all about. And boy, let me tell you, yeah, it's just easier just to read this stuff. Just read, guys, just read. If you don't want to get help from somebody, read. Or there's video guides on how to build your character for specific systems. There's so many video guides out there. YouTube is your best friend. Google is your best friend. Okay, I'll leave it at that. 3 days before game, haven't heard anything from new player. Nervously message them. Have you got a character ready for me? I'm finalizing world building and I need to know if there's any NPCs or events I should be considering. No, it's ready when it's ready. Fine. First session comes around. Players introduce themselves. Setting is established. New players turn to introduce themselves. I don't have a character. Character creation is too hard, and no one was helping me. No one was helping me. People gave you plenty of help. You just didn't accept it, you idiot. There's also an edit. Let's see what happens. They stuck around for 3 sessions before leaving. Part of their complaint, aside from no one helping them understand the rules she refused to have explained, was that I didn't include any of her character's elements in the story when I clearly gone through so much effort for everyone else. At this stage, she had still not rendered me a backstory, and any suggestions I did make were vetoed. If you don't give your DM or storyteller, GM, whatever, anything to work with, you will get nothing. Whatever you put in, you get back. If you give them nothing, you get nothing. It should be on you to provide something, anything. Maybe in the future, this new player should consider not being so high and mighty and high strong and so difficult, and just actually ask for help for once. Ask for guidance over the system that they're trying to learn how to play. Or hey, maybe if you don't want to play a new system, don't play a new system. Play the system you already know that you're used to if you feel that comfortable. Don't go out of your way to try to play a new system if you don't want to learn a new system, if you don't want to learn any guidance, and then complain, nobody helped me. People helped you. People wanted to help you greatly. You just didn't accept help, you idiot. Seriously, what a crazy story. What a crazy player. Guys, if you're coming in brand new to the system, the one thing you could do is ask for help. If you don't know what you're doing, you're playing Pathfinder, Starfinder, Call of Cthulhu for the very first time, and you have a GM or DM there, please ask him for help. If you need guidance, ask him for guidance. If you need some sort of tutorialization, ask him to be your tutorial. It is important and imperative to ask other people for help when you need help, especially if you're learning a brand new system, making a character for the very first time in a system that you never played before. It's not that difficult to ask for help. It's a very normal thing to ask for help. Just don't be this player. Don't be this player that says, I don't need help. You gotta ruin my character, butt out, and then complain saying, nobody helped me. People helped you plenty. You just didn't accept any help, you dummy. For real. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.